are these people?
Number one, I wanted to call attention, and Reef did a great segment this week on David McBride. And I would encourage everyone to play that segment. It's only 6.5 minutes long, but he sets a timer during the segment because it literally counts off the amount of time that they allowed for the entire hearing. It was an open and shut case, intentionally geared, and they didn't post the courtroom number on the board so that his supporters weren't able to get there. And by the time they did, the hearing was already over, so they couldn't stand up and have any kind of a ruckus at all. All right. What a mess. So David sent this message after he had been denied his appeal. McBride just sent this message, quote, "To those who stood by me through thick and thin, you're my greatest joy. You are my family. It's those who fight with us in the darkest hours who win the most glory. From my heart, thank you. I will never forget your support." David McBride is an Indie Media Award honoree for his courage and whistleblowing. Also speaking out on his behalf all were, of course, Misty Winston and Consortium News and Paula Isella, another Indie Media Award honoree for activism. Then we also had Steve. Steve, surprisingly enough, pointed out that, not really surprisingly enough, he's spoken to David more than just about anyone, and that he supported David for a long time, but that during the trial, the Australian version of the CIA, the SIS, came in and confiscated documents that David was going to use at trial in his testimony. They deemed them classified. They classified them in the middle of the trial, after the fact. Justice for David McBride. Steve, damn you! So, again, that's INN. Go check it out. David McBride's court appeals are rejected. He reads through a Consortium News article on that. So solidarity with our brother, David McBride. A HABOOB. Anyone know what a HABOOB is? I know that Lone Star does, because Lone Star is the one that gave this to me. And you live near this, obviously, I guess, Reef. So you should have seen this possibly.
Unfortunately.
That's a spicy meatball.
So a sun, the sun, filtered by the dust in Florida as a HABOOB the size of the 48 states approaches the U.S. Nothing to see here.
Red sky sandstorm?
Please disperse, right? It's a big sandstorm. Oh, yeah. So the article reads, a giant HABOOB from the Sahara Desert is about to reach the southeastern U.S., predicted to hit Texas and Florida on Wednesday. HABOOBs are a regular occurrence in the Sahara Desert between May and October, particularly in June, as thunderstorms kick dust up high into the atmosphere. Okay, cool. HABOOBs result from a microburst, which is an intense column of sinking air within a thunderstorm, which, as it hits the ground, spreads out in all directions and carries out sand or dust particles at speeds of up to 60 miles per hour. That's not cool. The lofted particles can reach heights of 5,000 feet, so you're talking almost a mile in the air, and can extend up to 100 miles wide. Holy shit. This particular HABOOB, sometimes referred to as the Saharan air layer, is a particularly large one, I would guess so, and is expected to reach the U.S. coast before dispersing. And allegedly, yes, that's what's happened all week long, that people have seen the sun kind of blotted out. HABOOBs happen all over Africa. This is a grand-scale HABOOB. There's all kinds of funny stuff you could do with the boobs. Thank you. All right. A hurricane scientist at NOAA said that it's about the size of the lower 48 states. Contains a lot of dry air and dust as well.
I love that noise.
And it makes its way completely across the Atlantic. No, this was not a test of the emergency broadcast system. And that this HABOOB has already traveled about 4,000 miles over the ocean. How the fuck does it do that? Dry air and a lot of dust. I don't understand, man. Is it walking on water? Now that we're ramping up
Pretty
into the
much.
peak season of these dust
It's
outbreaks,
lighter than water.
it's about every 3 to 5 days that another one comes off the coasts. So we usually get impacts over the peak of the hurricane season. Yes, Sean, the Accord Lord over on Discord, had my idea when I thought of haboobs. Yep, I can't put that up. Oh, God, that's awful. All right. All right. John Morales from TV, the Saharan air layer paid a visit to South Florida and the Keys today. Here's what sunrise looked like in Key Largo this morning with the sun filtered by dust. Oof. So is all that dust harmful to you? Well, it depends on the concentration and the altitude. Well, that means probably. It's best to refer to local air quality monitoring agencies for alerts. High altitude dust transport is less likely to have a significant impact on air quality at the surface, but important dust clouds at surface levels, bring particulate matter, coarse and fine, worsening air quality and posing respiratory or even cardiovascular risks. Now we have to be worried about large dust storms coming from the Sahara fucking desert. Saharan dust also does transport microorganisms, including pathogens. This shouldn't be a reason for alarm, as airborne virus and bacteria are part of the atmosphere. Oh, I see that.
Gonna have a bad time.
The HABOOB virus. Here we go. As we all experience with COVID, whether it can be dangerous for health is a matter of concentration and pathogens, or completely made up. These haboobs can, of course, affect the weather as they travel throughout the summer months. Gotta be shitting me. The Saharan air layer is another significant seeding phenomenon among affecting tropical storms. The massive, dry, mineral-rich, dusty air that forms over the Sahara from late spring to early fall and moves over the tropical North Atlantic every 3 to 5 days at speeds of 22 to 55 miles an hour. That's fast. These air masses are 1 to 2 miles deep and exist in the lower troposphere, so not at the surface. They can be as wide as the continental U.S., like this one, and have significant moderating impacts on tropical cyclone intensity and formation because the dry, intense air can deprive the storm of moisture, and wind shear can interfere with its convection. Oh, Jesus. However, disturbances on the periphery of the Saharan air layer can receive a boost in their convection and spin. Great! The immediate effects are unlikely to be more severe than making your car a bit dusty and grimy, like a layer of pollen almost, but the storm could impact the local weather. Okay, great. It's expected to push into the Gulf of Mexico, and out of America, before potentially turning the skies hazy from Florida to Texas until Friday of last week. So you saw this? Did you hear about this? Did you see this?
I mean, I really.
Did anybody talk
Seems
about it on the
fine
news?
from where I'm at. No.
Interesting.
I mean, probably.
It was a haboob.
But
all right. This one, I'm not going to read. It's a long one, but it's a good one from our friend Arturo Dominguez, Decolonized Journalism, extremearturo.substack.com. U.S. denies Cuban athletes visas, banning travel from 19 countries and more. All right. And that was, again, after the violent attack in Boulder, Colorado. They're weaponizing the incident to target non-citizens and villainize them as terrorists. So also a really important story. Cuba's national basketball team was denied permission to travel to Puerto Rico for the FIBA AmeriCup qualifiers. So they had to forfeit their first game, and most of their players were denied visas. Isn't that nice? And they earned their spot after qualifying earlier this year, but womp womp. Fuck the Trump administration. There's a lot to that story. I encourage everyone to go read it. I'll put that link in the description. Also want to call out, again, shout out to our friend at Food Not Bombs, Keith McHenry. But this is not a Keith McHenry article. This was from Farrah Hassen at Inequality, all right, who's talking about how the fact that criminalizing homelessness doesn't work but housing people actually does. Huh, how about that? What a wild stuff. All right, this is from a publication called OtherWords. I wanted to click over there. Look at that. That's people sleeping in the back of their cars. All right. And this is talking about and we talked about this last year. They passed an ordinance in, I think it was North Carolina, or maybe even in Southern California, the Grants Pass decision, all right, which may have opened the door to new cruelties. And they're basically outlawing homelessness. All right. Around 100 housed people were recently forced to vacate Oregon's Deschutes National Forest or else face a $5,000 fine or up to 1 year in jail, or both.
Right to jail, right away.
The forest was the last hope for the encampment's residents, many of whom were living in broken down RVs and cars. Shelters in nearby Bend, where the average home price is nearly $800,000, are at capacity, and rent, of course, is increasingly unaffordable. So what are they supposed to do? They can't afford to move. They can't afford to buy a house. They're not allowed to legally sleep on the streets. Or now in their, where do they want these people to go? All right. A year ago this June, Grants Pass v. Johnson, the Supreme Court's billionaire-backed justices, ruled that the local governments can criminalize people for sleeping outside, even if there's no available shelter. All right. Today, a person who works full-time and earns a minimum wage cannot afford a safe place to live almost anywhere in the country. Federal minimum wage has remained stagnant at $7.25 an hour since 2009, and rent is now unaffordable for half of all tenants. Ridiculous. Not everybody works minimum wage. Most minimum wage jobs are not even full-time, 40 hours a week. So they have to cobble multiple minimum wage jobs together just to even make 40 hours. Check out OtherWords. I'll put this link in. Here's the big distraction of the week. I hope you weren't paying attention. All right. Elon Musk said something everyone's known for years. Everybody freak out. Be distracted from whatever's coming next, because it's probably going to be big if they pull this one out. Heads on a swivel, fam. I wrote this 3 days ago. Has anything big happened since then? Nah.
Couple of things.
Nah. Always an Archer reference. Classic misdirection.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Both are majorly connected to Epstein, as our friend Phil points out. Shout out to Phil. Okay, and how it might all end up being for Peter Thiel's benefit, because Snow Himmo's predicting that the falling out of this is going to be J.D. Vance ends up president, which may well be accurate. This could all be a setup to make Trump look unhinged and authoritarian, and J.D. Vance look like the reasonable one. Which is why he's going on controlled opposition podcasts like Theo Von.
Mom, I'm sorry.
I'm watching smart people fall for the drama and get wrapped up in the distraction and the back and forth. We all knew this was designed to be blown up for maximum PR value at some point, and it was. So congratulations to all these assholes for creating the distraction that they intended to create, so that people weren't paying attention to the bombs that were being dropped on Gaza, or the bombs that are being dropped on Beirut, or Jelani with what's going on in Syria, exterminating Alawite Christians, or the failed peace talks that are happening in Turkey over Ukraine, Russia. Oh yeah, by the way, Ukraine had a terrorist attack all over Russia, and then Russia retaliated with a drone attack. And of course, Ukraine cried about that and acted like they didn't do anything to deserve it. Or, they tried to blow up the
Bad things are happening.
They tried to blow up the bridge that goes to Crimea. Okay, again, they failed. Russia's shown an incredible amount of restraint multiple times, of course, but they'll never cop to that. A lot of distractions that would have gotten maximum PR value, on top of the fact that what's happening with the flotilla and what's happening in Gaza and with leveling and taking the West Bank. By the way, there's no Hamas in the West Bank, yet Israel is still ethnically cleansing, demolishing houses, basically following the exact same playbook that they followed in Gaza but they're not using a justification of an October 7th. They're just doing it. And they're just doing it because Trump's not going to stop them. That's what Miriam Adelson gave him all that money for.
Yep.
So fuck Trump, fuck Elon, fuck Israel, fuck distractions, fuck ICE, fuck the cops, fuck them all. And fuck Bernie Sanders. That's right, the shepherd of hopes. Burn it down, I say. Burn his ass down. Burn it down. That sellout motherfucker who won't even mention genocide. All right? Disgusting. And then, of course, we have our friends still fighting cancer and that need some help. I was going to bring Halo Benson's GoFundMe this week because her daughter got into some legal trouble. Totally random and innocent, just took a trip to Florida with some dude that she didn't know. Turns out, he's a drug trafficker. The guy got pulled over, and the whole story. She's going to put up a new GoFundMe on Tuesday for the bail fund. She needs about $2,200. Anything anybody can do at Halo Benson, HALO Benson. Another one of the best of us. These are all, by the way, Assange supporters, and fucked up stuff is happening to now. These are people that sacrificed themselves for years. By the way, Halo still sends me postcards to mail out to the to all the members of Senate, and they're already addressed and they're stamped, and all you literally have to do is write something on it and drop it in the mailbox. An incredible person. Her daughter got caught up in this. But before we get to Halo, Chanda has certainly still needs some help. We still have a $5,000 goal there. She's got $1,100 raised toward that. It helps her pay her bills while she's been fighting cancer. She can't work still. She gets tired, fatigued. She went through chemo, went through radiation, went through hell, and also did all the natural remedies as well. Fuck cancer by all means. So anything you can do, help Chanda there. Also, AnnaMari. I don't see that number have gone up since last week, which I'm sorry to see and sad to see, but I get everybody's struggling and it's tough times for everyone right now. Love to our brother Andrew Zygmunt Smith, who's AnnaMari's dad. Andrew was one of the co-founders for the Action for Assange show. And again, incredible protester, activist on behalf of Julian Assange, press freedom and freedom of liberty. He's a big liberty guy. I'm down. So anything again that you can do to help AnnaMari. Now, Chanda's partner Oz the Boomer, he does not have a GoFundMe, but that's our brother Oz. We love Oz to death and to life. We want Oz to stay alive and to stay around, and he could use some help as well. So
I love Oz.
Yeah, stay away from my chickens, Oz. And it's
Great and powerful Oz.
he is great and powerful, but
Stay away from my chickens, Oz.
he's got to stay away from those chickens. So if you could drop him a Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/Oz the Boomer, OZ the Boomer, all one word. You could drop him $5-10, pick up a monthly subscription as well to support. Love to our brother Oz. Anything we can do to support. Everybody right now is struggling and needs some help. So every dollar helps. IndieNewsNow.com, like I said, is a news site that I built with help from our friend Josh over at White Hat Productions. I think that's still the name of his company. I don't remember what the latest iteration is. He'll have to put a link to it down below. All right, but this is a news aggregator site that you can now look by category to look for articles. If you just want to look for articles and read articles and look for articles to read, here are articles that are published from Substacks as well as from Electronic Intifada and a few other larger publications. Caitlin Johnstone, our friend the Islamic Marxist, ScheerPost. Although
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
I have set a filter so that we're not publishing Bob's List. I'm not a fan of Bob's List. It's really just amplifying corporate media, and I've called them out on that too. Podcasts. We do have a featured podcast, which is, this one, by the way, from Memorial Day. We also have a bunch of other podcasts that you know and love. New episodes are included here. We have their RSS feed, and this will link right to the podcast so you can download and listen to it right on their site. We also have videos, so we've tapped into Rumble pages to be able to display Rumble live live streams and videos that are uploaded to different channels. So that's Progressive Truth Seekers. And then you've got Macroaggressions with Charlie Robinson. And there's INN over there on the Rumbles. We've also got, who's that? The Duran, the Reflex and everybody. Grand Theft World. Bunch of New Atlas with Brian Bertelic. A lot of creators. Some you might not have even heard of. And that's the idea, is we want to have a large mix of independent voices that bring different perspectives, but ones that that make sense. They're not just talking shit. They're not Trump sycophants. They're not duopoly simps. We're not here for that crap. All right. And then of course we have Watch Live, which you can do right now over on IndieNewsNow.com/live and watch. Here's our show. There it is. Hey, there we are live right there. So you can watch that live whenever we are. And now Reef's waving, and in a second you'll see a wave. There's a little bit of a delay. First he's taking a hit, and then he'll look up and he'll wave, and we'll see that on the screen. Maybe. Should. That's weird. Okay, I guess it's a little bit more delayed than we thought. All right.
Yeah, I think it normally is.
Finally, new
It's
shop.
fine.
Who dis? Now on Indie News Now, there is a shop link under Keep the News Free, which is where you can also contribute with credit card and any method that you can think of. But there's also the old shop embedded here, so you can purchase any of the old items there. But we are moving towards a new shop that Big Frog Promotions put up. Okay, that's got the indie T-shirt. I didn't put that on the on the old shop. So you've got an indie T-shirt, men's and ladies, as well as tank tops, sweatshirts. You've got indie beanies and INN beanies. T-shirts start at like $20. So I think there might even be a $19 T-shirt, $19 tank tops, American Tradition with Jesse Jet tank top. There you go. My dial doesn't go to delicate. So by all means, pick up one of these as well. I'll put the link for that in the description after the show. I know I put up a bunch of GoFundMes, but one more time before if you're able to, and it means please support the media you want to see. And you can do that by Cash App, $ Indie News Network, ko-fi.com/Indie News Network, paypal.me/Indie News Network, and over at INNnewsletter.com or at IndieMediaToday.com or over at IndieNewsNow.com. Support independent media. We need it more than ever. Love you.
Bye-bye! We are out of here.
No! We just fucking lost the stream!
You can't keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your heads. Why play civil if you won't listen? 50,000 died, and now we know our mission. We form a militia, make Congress a prison.